Okay, hello everyone. So I think I'm audible. Good morning, everyone. Okay. Uh, so first of all, namaste. Good morning to everyone. Uh, we have started this particular campaign for conducting a live webinar from the last 4 days, and I'm extremely thankful to all the students from entire country for your wonderful response. Fortunately, I must say that we have received some more than 8,000 registrations within 4 days. So this means, yes, we do have some of the challenges, we have some of the limitations through which we can overcome this. Just to interrupt here, I just wanted to check, uh, am I audible? Am I audible? Yes. You can just comment through yes. Am I audible, everyone? Yes. Okay. 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 So first of all, this session is completely about all the job opportunities in pharmaceutical industry. So be it a commercial industry, be it a sales and marketing, be it research and development, be it clean research, formulants. But again, out of which I'll be discussing many of the things or many of those domains which we need to understand as we are in a state of technology transition. Yes, 2020, this year is basically special for everyone. We are already in a crisis of COVID. We are already in lockdown. We are already in technology transition. Even before some 10 to 15 years back, as Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam said, Pharma Vision 2020. So this particularly means that, yes, we are right now in the technology transition. So what we need to understand here is, as a pharma graduate, as a pharma professional, see, we are not engineers to understand the technologies like what is AI, what is robotics, what is virtual learning, what is all those cloud technologies. So these are some of the 7-star technologies, even blockchain technologies. So as a pharma profession, we know the core of the molecule, we know the core of tablet manufacturing, we know core of any disease, the core of any conditions. But this does not mean that we should not have that understanding of technology. If you are blending your knowledge with this technology, then and then only you will sustain, you will survive in this post COVID era. So post COVID era is all about new challenges, new opportunities, and with this opportunities we can see more and more number of possibilities for pharma graduates. So number one, let me clear one thing. Pharmaceutical industry, as a pharma professional, you should be proud of being a pharma professional, because right now pharma is in boom. First of all, pharmaceuticals or pharma profession, right now we are known as a sunrise industry or a sunrise sector, where we see n number of possibilities. So let's start with this job opportunities. Just a request to everyone, once we the particular session, we are basically combining this entire session into three different segments. First, we are going to see all the job opportunities after your D Farm, B Farm, or M Farm. Second, we are going to see job matrix, which will make you understand what is current or what is right job for you. And third, your most important and your most comments जहाँ पे आते हैं, the most of the students, they ask their only doubts, sir, salary कितना मिलेगा? So the third point which we are going to discuss is salary, basically for all the domain. I just a request, in case whatever questions you have, we are going to have all the questions. We basically, I'll uh, thankfully, whatever queries we are receiving, there are n number of queries. I'll be sharing the queries, or I'll be sharing clearing your doubts maybe after 1 hour once I finish this particular session. So let us start with this. Uh, job opportunities. So first of all, job opportunities here, there are four different categories through which I can demonstrate you the four different domains or four different sectors of pharmaceutical industry. First, a commercial industry. Second, sales and marketing. Third, research and development. Fourth, pharmacovigilance and clinical trial linked jobs. So let's first discuss about commercial industry. Now, ideally, when you ask yourself a question, what after your D farm, or what after your B farm, or even what after your M farm? See, ideally, after your graduation, you have only three choices. Either you will go for higher studies, or you will go for a job, or you will go for a business. In this session, we are precisely talking about jobs. So let's talk about jobs in the first sector, which is commercial industry. Now, commercial industry, we have the core job of pharma. It is in commercial industry. So, what is commercial industry and what is uh, research plant? So, commercial industry is nothing but a manufacturing facility. Let's consider a tablet manufacturing facility where we can there is a tablet or there is a capsule manufacturing unit where we see end to end manufacturing process, right from its dispensing, its granulation, its blending, its compression, its coating in case of capsule encapsulation, and last packaging. So ideally, if you are a D farm, if you are a B farm, if you are even M farm, you have very good opportunity in a core job, that is end-to-end process of this pharmaceuticals. You can have your work in this all these subsectors, right from dispensing up to the packaging department. Now, whenever I'll be discussing all these job domains, let me clear one thing. I'll be briefing you all the jobs based on eligibility criteria, based on your job role, and based on that specific skill which you need to understand. So in commercial industry, we have some 10 different departments. So first is production, packaging, quality assurance, quality control, regulatory affairs, technology transfer, corporate, then HR, PPIC, then project management, and supply chain management. These are 11 different subsectors when we see one sector of commercial industry. So let's discuss each and every subsector. The first one is production. So as a production employee, you as a D farm or B farm, you join there as a junior officer or officer based on your qualification. This is core job, or this is basically a shop floor job. The eligibility, as I said, it is D farm, B farm, or M farm. Your basic role is to handle all the production activities, like right from dispensing, granulation, blending, compression, coating, and you need to maintain the GMP, the CGMP, and you have to comply the quality standards of this medicine. The growth of this department or growth of domain is considered, you start initially slow, but it is a stable and it is a sustainable job. So this is considering a core job. Important skill for this particular job is you need to have a proper GMP knowledge. The best tip which I can give you here, if you are preparing for production and packaging related job, is read tablets chapter from Latchman. I hope each and every graduate, I hope each and every postgraduate, you must have Latchman. So tablets is that particular chapter where you can learn all these things. Now, next after this is a quality assurance department. Quality assurance department where you can see in comparison with all the domains in commercial industry, this is excellent job profile where your basic role is to monitor the process and maintain quality of the product. As a QA, or whenever I go for different sessions in different institutions, I go on saying that if you are working in a QA department, then probably you are the crime branch investigator of your plant, where you need to monitor, where you need to identify those particular gaps where, or those particular processes which have been or could have been violated, right? So as a QA personnel, you are acting there as a crime branch investigator, where you have to identify whether your product or whether your process is as per GMP, as per CGMP, as per SOP. The qualification for QA is B Farm or M Farm. One more thing, even in QA, this QA quality assurance department is divided into two parts. One is IPQA, other one is QA documentation. IPQA, where you have to work on shop floor, where QA documentation you have to work in administration floor in a same plant, commercial industry plant. As we can see the trends, mostly male candidates are being preferred for IPQA department, while female candidates are being preferred for QA documentation. So QA documentation work is based on preparation, review, approval, compliance of all the documents related with that plant, related with that process. Important skill tip here is you must have a knowledge of GMP, quality system, and knowledge. As far as growth is concerned, yes, you start slow, but it is a stable job. It is a sustainable job where you can have maximum chances of getting both professional development as well as financial development. Next is QC, next is quality control. Just a minute. फक्त तो व्हिडिओ प्ले होतोय का मध्ये फक्त तुम्ही तुमच्या एंडनी बघा तो त्याच्यावर बघत. So next is QC, quality control. Now here majority of the students they go on asking, sir, MSc candidates are there, and generally there are some companies who prefer MSc candidates and not BPharm or DPharm candidate. See, the idea here is quality control jobs are basically the one which are into analytical laboratories. So ideally, as far as skills are concerned, you have to accept the fact that MSc chemistry or MSc analytical chemistry students or candidates, they have the same skill sets, and that's why they are eligible, they are equally eligible. Even when I see the trends in Goa state, where we have n number of MNCs, mostly, or I can say 70 to 80% of QC labs, they have MSc candidates and not BPharm can. This does not mean that BPharm is not eligible, but if you are proving your analytical skills, if you are proving your skills related with chromatography or titration or all those chemistry related skills, then yes, even QC has that equal growth potential as like QA. So here you have to compete with MSc. As far as eligibility is concerned, BPharm is eligible, MPharm chemistry, MPharm MSc candidate, they are eligible for this. Important skill tip here is no doubt you should have analytical skills, but similarly you need to or see if you can stand for a day. So that's the way the QA or that lab work actually plays. Next is the legal side, which is regulatory affairs. So regulatory affairs, it is again one more core job in documentation. It is a legal department of the entire plant or that entire company. Now RA is divided into two parts: site RA at plant level and corporate RA. So main task of RA is basically a documentation, compliance, ANDA filing, DMF filing, and they basically ensure that whatever regulatory guidelines have been fixed by those regulatory bodies, whether they are or where our processes are complying with this or not. So that's the idea. So site RA and corporate RA, these are two different types of in RA. You start slow, but it is a stable job, sir. Sir. So important skill tip here is DMF, ANDA, and regulatory bodies knowledge. You need to have a DMF, ANDA, and regulatory bodies knowledge for this. You should have command on English language as well. Now the eligibility is uh, MPharm is eligible, or BPharm with some experience is also eligible for this regulatory affairs job. Next is this particular technology transfer. So technology transfer, mostly DPharm and BPharm students are not aware of this technology transfer department, but in the next part of the session, I'll be briefing this job matrix where technology transfer is the department or the one which will have probably the highest growth in the commercial industry or commercial domain. So what is technology transfer? See, ideally you need to understand this is, say, consider one example. Say, suppose you're making 2 cups of tea. So the amount of sugar, the amount of tea, the amount of water, the amount of milk you are taking, even the utensils or the energy which you are using or consuming to prepare this 2 cups of tea would be completely different. And when you have some guests, say 20 or 30, or you are preparing a tea for 20 to 30 people, 20 to 30 guests, accordingly, the quantity of sugar, tea, milk, and water will change. Accordingly, the quantity or that volume of utensils will change. Accordingly, the energy will change, but the process will remain same. So that's the work of technology transfer, who basically work on process. So process research and development is a task of technology transfer, who basically connects formulation R&D with a commercial industry. Formulation R&D, these scientists, when they develop a formulation, when they develop a batch, then they transfer this formula, a process, to a technology transfer professionals. Technology transfer department, what it does is they scale up a 5 kg paracetamol batch into a 500 kg paracetamol batch by keeping the same process, but by changing their quantities, by changing the volume of their machines. So that is a technology transfer department where you can see multifold growth. So core job, this is core job, this is process R&D job, and here you can experience a multifold growth in the industry. The eligibility for technology transfer is MPharm. If you have experience, MPharm, after MPharm, if you have experience in, say, pharmaceutics or in quality assurance in commercial industry, then your chances are more in working transfer. Important skill tip here is you need to have a proper understanding or the proper knowledge of pre-formulation studies and SUPAC guidelines, SUPAC, scale up and post approval changes, SUPAC guidelines. You just Google it, SUPAC guidelines. You can understand all the guidelines which are related with this. Is next in commercial industry is PPIC. Mostly you are not aware of this job, but PPIC is production planning and inventory control. So what these people actually do is whatever production activities, say for example, if suppose I'm an employee of, if suppose I'm a production supervisor of, say, Sipla Goa, then in Sipla Goa unit number 3, I basically run some 10 to 15 month, like paracetamol, like aceclofenac, like other products. So it is not like one plant always run only one product. Ideally, I run all those major products, and here the role of PPIC is to manage, is to plan all the production activities in line with project management team, right? Accordingly, he has to manage inventory as well. Inventory in this case, your raw material, your API, your excipients, then your utensils, your packaging material, all this inventory you need to manage. So this management is basically PPIC, and that is why the important skill tip for PPIC is you should have first production experience, and second is management expertise, right? Second, eligibility for this PPIC is MPharm or BPharm experienced. So this is again a core job which is linked with management, multifold growth you can expect in PPIC. Next is project management, one more core job in management which you can experience through a multi-fold growth. Again, here you have to plan and manage all the activities to comply with the supply and demand. See, ideally, when company decides, yes, we have to manufacture, say, 5 lakh tablets of paracetamol. So ideally, you have to manage or you have to check the supply and demand ratio of your own product. So project management team is basically on maintaining this supply and chain, supply and demand chain. So your task is to integrate with all the departments. As a project management employee, you have to integrate with production, with packaging, with QA, with QC, with your PPIC department, with your dispensing department, all the departments you have to integrate with. Eligibility for this is MPharm or BPharm with some experience in production. So important skill tip here is you should have a production knowledge or GMP knowledge, process knowledge, plus you should have some management expertise or management related skills. Next and last domain or subsector in production is supply chain management. Here you have to manage the logistics of API, excipients, packaging material, in order to manage the supply and demand of your products, of your medicines. This is again a core job in management where you can expect multifold growth. Eligibility for this supply chain management is either you should be MPharm or you should have experience after your BPharm. Important skill tip again remains the same. You should have some experience in production, plus you should have some management skills as well. So So this was all about the jobs in commercial industry. 11 domains we have seen. The next after this is very interesting job domain, that is sales and marketing. So sales and marketing, mostly the students, they prefer sales and marketing. Sadly or unfortunately, they prefer this particular job just because you are getting a very good amount of salary here is. But whenever you are choosing a job, make sure that whatever jobs you are picking or whatever uh, domains you are picking, it should be linked with your own skills. So here, first of all, you have to identify your skills. Now, sales and marketing will require completely different skills. Sales and marketing, it will require communication skills, it will require people management skills. Now, as far as sales and marketing is concerned, as a fresher, maybe a D farm, maybe a B farm, or maybe a M farm, you initially start your career as territory manager. Now, TM is the new term which has been used in marketing. Ideally, we know, we understand MR, medical representative, but mostly the companies are now changing their designations from medical representatives to territory manager. So, as a territory manager, you'll be allotted with one territory. For example, if suppose I'm working in Mumbai, so I'll be allotted one of the division. Say, for example, here consider a case of say Cadila Healthcare. If suppose I'm a sales and marketing employee of Cadila Healthcare, and uh, Cadila have some different divisions. Cardio division is different, CNS division is different, skin division is different, pediatric division is different. So suppose, for example, I have been allotted in a territory for pediatric division, then my task is to identify who are all those pediatricians in my own territory. Based on this, I have to go with market research. I have to go with the entire portfolio of these doctors. So ideally in sales and marketing, this is sales job and you can experience a multifold growth, but performance based. However, or how good you are performing, based on your performance, you will have this entire growth, professional growth, as well as financial growth for your own job. Eligibility for this is D farm or B farm or M farm, who have a market knowledge, who have excellent communication skill, who have people management skill. So after territory manager, there is one more department or one more domain in marketing or in sales and marketing is and PMT. So these are two different departments where you need to be a MBA. After B Farm, you can have your MBA. MBA, maybe Pharma MBA or PGDM or MBA is the basic eligibility to work in market research. So as a market research, this is a corporate job. This is a multi-fold performance based growth driven job, market research. And here, right now, the scenario is these are the two jobs, market research and the second one is PMT, which we are going to discuss ahead. So the demand for these type of candidates for market research and PMT is again high. So whenever a demand is high and supply is low, then you can expect maximum growth. So that's the key. Even in technology transfer, the demand is high, supply is low, and that's why you can experience highest growth in this department. As even after eligibility, the important skill tip here is you should have a market knowledge, you should be MBA, you should have communication skills, excellent communication skills, excellent people management skills with you. Next is PMT department. PMT is nothing but product management team. Again, similarly, like market research, this PMT again offers such domain where you have to work with some advertisement campaigns, where your branding, where your market research is involved. Again, it is a high demand job where we have seen there are very few colleges which offer Pharma MBA, and right now it is a multifold performance based growth driven job. The eligibility for this is Pharma MBA or MBA. The skill set will require is as it is like market knowledge, you should have people management skill and excellent communication skills. Now, next after this is one more domain in marketing, sales and marketing is techno marketing or digital marketing. So, techno marketing is something where you use digital platforms to promote your brand, to promote or to have your own advertisements. Now, as we have seen, all of you are using social media or social management platforms. Similarly, to promote or to endorse your own products with some advertisement campaign, you as an employee of your company, you can utilize digital marketing or digital platform or techno marketing campaigns for your own product, so that it can reach to the targeted customer. So digital marketing, it will require that particular skill where you need to have a digital marketing skills. See, this type of skills you can learn anywhere. There are n number of courses for digital marketing where you can actually implement all those strategies. And if you have this digital marketing skill, then there is an opportunity in upcoming days, in upcoming years, where the companies will spend maximum amount of money on digital marketing and not on hoardings and pamphlets. This is how you reach, or this is how the company reach to the target customer, through the digital marketing and techno marketing. So wherever this technology is involved, you can experience multi-fold growth. So this is digital marketing is again a multi-fold and performance based growth. You should be a MBA to proper to or manage all these things. The third domain is research and development. Now, as a pharma professional, we have already understood that research and development involves four types of different research: formulation research, analytical research, then API research, and last is clinical research. So let's first discuss about the formulation research. So formulation research and development, the eligibility for formulation research and development is MPharm in pharmaceutics or MPharm in industrial pharmacy. The job role, basically it involves to handle ANDA projects or to design new dosage forms. Formulation and dosage form research is involved in this. This is again a core research job, and you can experience a multi-fold market driven growth. So ideally, when we consider growth, it is either a market driven growth or performance driven growth. We are going to see all those details in next part. Skill tip for this is you should have pre-formulation knowledge. You should have basic knowledge of formulation and experience. If at all you have experience in production, or if at all you have experience in technology transfer, then your chances are more in getting job into formulation R&D. Next is analytical R&D, where MPharm chemistry, those students who have done their thesis or research work in analytical work. So the chances are more for these candidates, because through their post graduation they have acquired the whatever skills the industry expects from them. So ideally, you work as an analytical research analyst, you work on ANDA projects, you work on development of some standard test protocols for new formulations, new products, method validation, chromatographic methods. So ideally, it is again a core job in research, and you can experience a multifold market driven growth, right? Important skill here is you should have analytical research skill. Next skill or next domain is API R&D. Now, considering scenario in India, API research and development, we are experiencing much more limitations, because right now when you consider an owner of pharmaceutical company, right now he is deciding to invest more on generic manufacturing and not on core research or core API research, where he basically spends his entire budget, his money on research, for which he, or for recovery of his budget, for recovery of his investment, he need to wait for 10 to 15 years, so that you guys can develop a NCE, new chemical entity. So ideally, none of the businesses are waiting for this particular timeline, and they are not investing on NCE, not novel chemical entities or new chemical entities. And that's why we have seen some of the news, recent updates, that API R&D, mostly companies are shutting down or terminating their projects of NCEs. So here, if you are thinking to work on API research and development, yes, the companies like Syngene is there, the companies like Sun Pharma, they are working hard on API. But again, in India or in our market, there are limitations if you are thinking for API research and development. Here, you can experience a research-based or a core job where you can experience market-driven growth as well. Next, the most important part, the most important subsector or domain in research is clinical research. You have gone through multiple news, multiple updates related with COVID, related with developing a vaccine or developing some products, medicines, in order to manage this COVID virus. In order, or we have seen there is again n number of possibilities for India, because mostly whatever companies or top brands which we know, global top brands, whatever products they are developing in their own countries, in their own research entities, they are transferring their molecules to India so that we can have their clinical trials for their molecules. Sadly, because we have this population factor, and that's the area where we have seen the growth of our clinical research or clinical trials domain. So ideally, as a clinical research investigator or analyst, your core job is to handle the clinical trials project of different companies. So this is again outsourcing based job, but this is, you can experience a market driven growth here. Eligibility for this is, if you are MPharm pharmacology, then company can expect that yes, you have the desired skills because you have that particular knowledge of clinical trials. So important skill tip here is you should have clinical research skills as well as a knowledge of all those clinical research phases. So this is highest and emerging research sector for post COVID era clinical research. Next, the fourth is, which is PV linked or CDM linked jobs, pharmacovigilance and drug safety analyst will discuss. So mostly if we have come across your seniors, mostly your seniors, they have chosen a job of PV. There are n number of vacancies, the walk-ins of TCS, Cognizant, Cyphomics, Indigen Life Sciences, they go on recruiting people. So ideally, the demand for PV, the demand for drug safety analyst is more right now, because whatever clinical research or whatever clinical trials are being done at the hospital level, ultimately the phase 4 has to be done through this PV channel. And that is why again it is an outsourcing job, but here you can consider right now you can experience a multifold growth, and again it is a market driven growth. The eligibility for PV is BPharm, but you should have PV experience, because mostly the students, they are not aware of PV, the core content or technical skills of PV, but you should have that experience, or you should have that exposure to some of the knowledge factors or segments of clinical research and clinical trials. Next to this is one more thing, important update here is uh, recently, maybe 7 days or 10 days back, TCS has announced that their entire workforce, whatever TCS workforce right now they are having, by 2025 they are utilizing only 25% of their employees at their site. So 75% of the jobs will be switched to work from home category. So again, you can see this changes after COVID, that PV and CDM related jobs that can be completely switched to work from home category. Next is CDM, clinical data management, highly emerging job, clinical data management, because you have to understand the fact is, wherever or whichever job specification you see a term of data, that's the emerging field. So data is, or we call it as data hi data hai. So data is basically something, data is new oil. So here you have to understand this is, whatever is around this data, you have to pick that opportunity. So core job, this is CDM, is clinical data management, is core job, which is market driven. You can experience a market driven growth. This is fastest growing sector where maximum students or maximum freshers are trying to get their opportunities. So ideally your role is to handle clinical trials or phase 4 trials, and main task is to handle and have the data analytics of all those whatever data you have compiled through this clinical trials in phase 4 trials. Eligibility for this is, if you are MPharm with pharmacology specialization, your chances are more in getting this job, because whenever we require clinical trials or clinical research coordinators, ideally the knowledge of anatomy, physiology, drugs and diseases is completely, we expect that you have to understand, you should have this entire knowledge of this. Next after CDM is medical writing and scientific writing. So medical writing and scientific writing, these are the jobs which were not in existence maybe 10 years back or 15 years back. So these are some novel jobs where you can have This is again linked with data management. Here you can experience a multi-fold market-driven growth. MFARM is mandatory here, at least for scientific writing. Here you can experience a fastest growing stage where maximum newcomers are approaching for this medical writing and scientific writing jobs. So here your main task is to handle this entire data, is to handle all those scientific or the data which is linked with your prescription or the data which is linked with your labeling, and you have to manage this entire data through this scientific writing. Important skill tip here is you should have a PV knowledge, you should have expertise in English language as well. So medical writing and scientific writing. Again, there are few jobs or few domains which students they get confused between medical coding and medical writing. So medical coding is completely different. Medical transcription is completely different. So medical coding, medical transcription, in the last 5 years, we have seen there are n number of jobs or n number of vacancy positions are there. They are picking D Farm, B Farm, M Farm. So similarly, medical coding and medical transcription, you have to think that yes, today we have the opportunity for medical coding and transcription, but you have to accept this fact that the companies are right now trying to accommodate the technology. So you have to accept this fact that human transcriptionist will be replaced by automatic or a technology transcriptionist. So here, whatever job or whatever task you are doing as a medical coder, the same task will be done through artificial intelligence in upcoming days. Second limitation is, if suppose you have an experience of medical coding, after say 3 years, after 5 years, if suppose you're thinking that yes, chalo abhi quit karte hain medical coding, you cannot utilize your experience in other domains. So that's the limitation in medical coding. D Farm, B Farm, M Farm, all these candidates, all the students, all the freshers, they can apply for medical coding jobs. Then next is the important part, the important domain is data scientist. So as I said earlier, data is the new oil. Data is uh, data is the one where we see there are emerging jobs. Even in pharmaceuticals, mostly even Infosys is right now working on their healthcare IT domains. So here the point is data is everywhere, be it in research and development, be it in commercial industry, be it in sales and marketing. So data scientists, the main role of data scientists is to work on data analytics, is to work on artificial intelligence, is to work on the patterns, maybe a pattern of patients, maybe a pattern of the results in clinical trials, maybe it can be anything, but whatever is being linked, data scientist has that highest growth when we compare all these domains after this post-COVID era. Eligibility for this is MFARM, or even if at all you have some good experience in regulatory affairs or in scientific writing, or you are very good with technology, then you can get this opportunity for data scientists. Next and last domain, the 30th domain. So ideally we were expected to discuss some 22 domain, but we go on discussing, and the 30th domain is hospital pharmacist and retail pharmacist. So this is again a core job as a pharmacist where you can imagine or expect a stable growth, a stable growth. So ideally, as you are already aware of the job roles of hospital pharmacist and retail pharmacist, one thing you need to understand here is the number of hospitals or the number of multi-specialty hospitals are going to increase multifold in our country, and that's the way which multi-specialty hospitals will require more number of hospital pharmacists. So this is ideally a case where you can yes, rather than experiencing other jobs which are basically uh, overlapped with the technology, but hospital pharmacist you can expect a stable growth. Important skill tip here is you need to understand the basics of being a pharmacist, patient counseling, then prescription, knowledge of prescription, knowledge of the basic pharmaceuticals knowledge you need to have as far as hospital pharmacist job is concerned. Now, next part which we are going to discuss here is the job matrix. Here, if you could see, I have whatever four sectors we have discussed right now, I have blended it together. I have again made this particular diagram or matrix in such a way that here you can see this is where you can check commercial industry, the jobs, production job, production, packaging, your QA, regulatory affairs, QC related job. So these are the jobs which falls in this category, commercial category. Second one is research, API research, analytical research, formulation research. Next one is PV linked job, PV or CDM linked job. And last one is sales and marketing. So first thing you need to understand here is commercial industries. When we blend these two domains, commercial industry with a research, we have a common factor or a common domain known as technology transfer. See, these are the four jobs which you can see, or these are the right jobs to pick you if you are considering a stable and sustainable jobs in the industry. So first category falls with commercial industry and research is technology transfer, where you can imagine or you can expect maximum amount of growth. Next, which you can blend it together, is research and PV and CDM linked jobs. Now, both these domain, they have a common factor is clinical research. So as it is a research, it falls in the both category of research as well as PV linked job. So the next emerging job which you can see, which you can expect highest growth, market driven growth or performance driven growth, is clinical research and clinical data management. Third is which is linked with sales and marketing and commercial industry. So sales and marketing, this is typically a, again, sales is different, marketing is different, but as a pharma professional we need to consider this both together. So sales and marketing, when it linked to commercial industry, we have a department known as project management department. So as a project management, you ideally manage a project of commercial industry. So ideally you need to have production or shop floor knowledge as well as a management knowledge. If you have both these qualities, if you have both these skills, then project management is the new area, is the new segment where you can typically you can see or you can think of picking that project management domain as a career. And last is where we have a blend of sales and marketing with CR or clinical research or PV link job. We have a common factor or common domain known as market research. So market research is something where you need to utilize your both skills which are related with clinical research, which are related with clinical data management, along with sales and marketing skill. So ideally, this market research, it falls in the both category. So right now, right jobs to pick after, or if you're an M Farm, right jobs for you to pick is technology transfer, clinical research, clinical data management, project management, and market research for MBAs. If you are a B Farm, make sure you can work in commercial industry because this is where we have core pharma jobs. You can experience a straight line or a J curve when you see the growth of pharmaceuticals, but it is good in commercial industry. So make sure you are picking a job in commercial industry. Maybe at initial level it is stable, it is slow, but in long term when you see sustainability of the job, core job is already you can prefer of. Similarly, you can pick a jobs of PV, pharmacovigilance, or clinical data management. Now, there are some candidates, there are some students who are prone or who are excellent in, who have excellent marketing skill, who have excellent communication skill, who have excellent people management skill. For them, the best job for you is sales and marketing. Sales and marketing. See, ideally, if I'm buying a 1 rupee paracetamol tablet, ideally 90% of the cost that company is spending on the sales and marketing. So this huge amount of money, this huge amount of budget has been spent by these companies. So you can imagine how important is sales and marketing domain for any company. Make sure if you have digital marketing skill, then again your chances of getting techno marketing jobs in this particular domain is again considerable. Two things here I have to mention is, suppose you have commercial industry skill, you cannot apply these skills to sales and marketing. Say for example, you have worked for 5 years in sales and marketing, and suddenly you thought कि yes चलो अभी बस कर दे, फील्ड वर्क नहीं करना है, सेल्स एंड मार्केटिंग को अभी क्विट करेंगे and let's go try somewhere else, maybe in commercial industry. So whatever experience you have taken in sales and marketing, this cannot be counted in commercial industry because this is process knowledge, this is field knowledge. But if you want to switch, then the department is product management department, where you can utilize your sales and marketing skills through this project management skill. Similarly, if you have worked with commercial industry and then you wish to upgrade yourself in research, then the emerging job for you should be a technology transfer department, and similarly for clinical research and market research. So this is something, a job matrix through which you can collate all things together. One more thing I need to mention here is focus on your skill. Today, suppose I am saying you that yes, market research has very good opportunity, clinical data management has very good opportunity, PV has very good opportunity, but you don't know the basic skills which are related with PV or clinical trials, then my advice would be don't opt for these domains. So whatever skills you have, whatever technical skills you have, whatever life skills you have, whatever routine skills, non-technical skills you have, based on your skills you have to pick your job. So ideally we have this more than 30 job domains. So ideally it is again two sides of the coin. At one side we see yes, pharma is emerging, pharmaceutical industry profession is emerging, we have seen 30 different jobs. And on other side of the coin is we have you can consider you are visiting a restaurant and you have a menu card of say 30 different dishes. So this is like you have 30 dishes. So at the end, when you're picking a correct job, this might create a confusion कि कौन सा चूज करना है, पनीर टिक्का चूज करना है या नॉनवेज पिक करना है. So again it is a big menu card, and that's how you kind of get confused in picking the job domain. So don't run behind salary at initial level as a fresher. See to it that whatever skills you have, based on your skills, you have to pick that right job, right? The last part, right now we are going to have some clearing some of the doubts. So yes, most of the doubts which are related with opportunities with PharmD students. Now PharmD in the last 4 to 5 years, I have seen there are n number of PharmD students which go on asking the job opportunities or career opportunities for PharmD. See, ideally, the concept of PharmD, which we have seen multiple institutions right now, they are coming with their PharmD courses. But right now, when we see the opportunities, typically in India, right now we have limited job opportunities for PharmD. No doubt we have, as a PharmD, you have very good opportunity in clinical pharmacies, even in clinical research. But ideally, as far as the regulations are concerned from Government of India, from Pharmacy Council of India, unless and until you have a stringent regulations from government, we cannot see or we cannot imagine the jobs which are getting flourished for PharmD. So no doubt in coming 1 to 2 years, we can see maximum growth from PharmD as well, be it in clinical pharmacies or be it in some corporate hospitals are there where they basically recruit PharmD as a doctors or PharmD as a hospital professionals. One more thing, as a PharmD, if at all you have some management experience or if you have a something or certified course somewhere or a bridge course in say management, then the opportunity for you can be in hospital management. So right now there are multi-specialty hospitals, there are corporate hospitals like Fortis, like Apollo, like Reliance. So these are the hospitals where you can see maximum number of opportunities even in clinical pharmacies. Apart from our country, there are very good opportunities abroad for PharmD. So the accountability or the credibility which PharmD candidate today have in abroad, maybe in US or UK, similar kind of credibility we are expecting in India as well. But that will take a time. So till that you can upskill yourself, you can reskill yourself, but no doubt there will be opportunity for PharmD in clinical pharmacies in upcoming days. Next question which we considered after, there is one question which has been asked many a times after B Farm, whether shall I choose M Farm as a post graduation or MBA as a post graduation. As I said, if your interest is in commercial industry and research, then go for MBA. Sorry, then go for M Farm. If your interest is in commercial industry and in research, then go for M Farm. If your interest is in PV, clinical data management, then go for MPharm in co-logy, right? But if your core interest is in market research, is in sales, is in brand, is in advertising, is in PMT, is in project management, program management, the emerging departments in management, then go for MBA, right? If you are an MPharm and then you are choosing a job in sales and marketing, you can experience a degradation of your own knowledge. So ideally, you have to plan yourself that which particular domain you wish to choose or at the end of your graduation. So that would be my advice. Even some of the students are right now confused whether after B Farm shall I go for higher education or not. Again, as a B Farm, you can see there are n number of jobs which are available for B Farm as well. But the point here is even same is the case with D Farm students. D Farm students are again, they are quite confused after D Farm shall I go with B Farm, the graduation or not. There are benefits when you see or when you climb the hierarchy of any company from a junior officer to executive to senior executive to junior manager, general manager. This particular journey of yours, if you have graduation, if you have post graduation, no doubt you can have that advantage of your graduation and post graduation. For example, suppose I am a B Farm candidate and after B Farm I have joined commercial industry, say production. After 5 years, yes, I am eligible to apply for technology transfer because I have 5 years experience in B Farm, right? But when I'll approach this technology transfer, that will not be for junior manager or managerial position. That will be for executive position. See, in the same case, when a MPharm candidate comes with 2 years of experience, then no doubt he is equally eligible for executive position. So this hierarchy is basically, or your graduation and post graduation, it plays important role when you climb this hierarchy. You need to have a long term vision. What after 2 years, what after 5 years, what after 10 years? It is not like कि आज salary कितना मिल रहा है, sales and marketing में ज्यादा मिल रहा है तो चलो sales and marketing करेंगे. You need to think long term. If at all right now salary का whatever discussion for salary is there, we are going to discuss that as well. But don't consider initial salary. Consider a long term growth, consider a stability, consider a sustainability. Now coming to the next part, which is the most important and most commented and most asked part, that is salary. Now as far as salary is concerned, let's discuss one by one. Commercial industry, you consider production, you consider uh, production, packaging, quality assurance, quality control, even regulatory affairs. As a B Farm fresher, degree fresher, you can expect a salary of say 12,000 to 14,000, right? If you're a D Farm, then no doubt you're eligible for production, packing, but your salary would be somewhere around 10,000. See, this salary structure has been revised in year 2015. Just Google one term, NAPS, National Apprenticeship Promotion Scheme. With the help of this NAPS, which has been announced and which has been implemented by our MHRD, Ministry of Human Resource and Development, because of this, we have right now advantage of higher side salaries. So the salary of D Farm for production somewhere around 5 years back or 10 years back, it was somewhere around 6,000 and 7,000. But the same fresher right now they are getting 5-digit salary, 10 to 11,000 salaries they can expect. Similarly for B Farm, the salary has been increased in the last 2 to 3 years. So at initial level, you start somewhere around 12,000 to 14,000 when you consider commercial industry, and you can expect say 15 to 20% growth per year. Suppose your salary today is 12,000, then for the next 2 to 3 years, you can expect at least 15 to 20% annual growth in your salary if you are continuing in the same company. One more advice for you: see to it, if you are joining a company in May 2020, make sure that you are working in that company for at least 2 years. This stability is important. See, we can discuss one case. Consider a candidate who have joined a Cipla. After 3 months, suppose he get a call from Glenmark. What he do is, just for the sake of increment of say 1 to 2,000, he leave the job of Cipla and he get into Glenmark. He started working with Glenmark with higher 2,000 higher salary. After say 6 months, he get a call from Abbott. Then he quit a job of Glenmark, and just for the sake of 2 to 3,000 salary, he came back to Abbott and he continues his work with Abbott. So if suppose if you are jumping from one company to another company in just short span of time, say 3 months, 4 months, imagine your own resume, imagine your CV after 2 years, after 3 years. When as a HR, I see your resume after 2 to 3 years, what I can see there is, in a span of 2 years, you have changed 4 companies. I'm picking you as a HR. If I'm picking you, what is the guarantee you're working in my own company at least for 1 year? So this means you are spoiling your own resume, you are spoiling your own profile. So see to it that if you are getting into an opportunity, then see to it at least for 2 years you are working in the same company. So prefer your performance, prefer your development, professional development, rather than expecting a financial development, right? So ideally, this is the case. Next is research. So for research, ideally the eligible candidate is MPharm, and you can expect at least 15 to 18,000 salary with some 20% annual growth in research. Similarly, for clinical research, pharmacovigilance, you can expect a salary, say up to 15,000 to 18,000. That's what the TCS is offering, or that's what the Cognizant is offering, with an annual increment of 20 to 30%. Now, this annual growth is limited when you are working in the same company. For example, I have worked in Cipla for say 3 years. Right now, yes, because I have 3 years of experience and then I'm switching my company from Cipla to Glenmark, then I can expect more than 30% growth in my own salary. So salary is again divided into a basic salary and CTC. So CTC is nothing but cost to company. So CTC is your package, right? So don't just divide your CTC into 12 months. So that could not be your gross salary. So ideally, the company has some other expenses or other revenues or other things which basically adds them into your salary, and your total package is nothing but your CTC, right? Next to this is sales and marketing. No doubt, multinational companies right now, they are offering 14 to 15,000 of salary for freshers as a territory manager. But sales and marketing, here you have a completely performance driven growth. However, whoever, or maybe a D farm, maybe a B farm, maybe a MBA, based on your performance only, you will, or you can have your growth. So ideally within 5 years, you can make up a salary more than your boss. So that magic will happen only in case of sales and marketing, where you can expect higher side growth, even higher side salary, even more than your boss, because you are working hard for your performance. So sales and marketing, even market research, is typically performance driven job. So this was all about the salaries. Now next, the thing which I want to explore here is, right now, one more thing which you can Google here is India Skills Report 2019. You just Google it, India Skills Report 2019. There is one document from central government, and this, through this document, you can see that, or we can explore that India Skills Report is only 37% of pharmacy graduates are employable. I repeat, only 37%. To be precise, 36.29% of pharmacy graduates are employable. This means out of 100, only 37 students, only 37 candidates have that skills which are as per industry expectations. So industry expectations are at higher side, and the syllabus or the contents or our learning it cannot matches with this industry requirements. So industry requirements, they are changing year by year, day by day. You have to cope up, or you have to bridge this particular gap of your theoretical knowledge and your industry expectation. So out of 100, only 37 students are, or only 37 students are industry ready candidates, right? And this percentage is dropping year by year. In 2017, this percentage was 48%. Later on, it became 42%, and today it is just 37%. Similarly, for other domain or other courses, like you can see engineering or management, their percentage is comparatively at a higher side. More than 40 or more than 50% is the employability. So the employability is the major issue of today's pharma graduates. So you have to work hard on your employability. Employability is nothing but whether you are able to become an employee. That's the employability. If suppose I wish to join a company like Nestle, whether I have all those capabilities which matches with the industry expectation of Nestle, that's it. So employability, work on your employability. See to it you can bridge this particular gap of your whatever theoretical knowledge you have and industry expectations. So at the end, as I said, or as I quoted earlier in the beginning or in the emails itself, so just because we have these gaps which are finding in pharma graduates across the country, we are announcing, or we are coming with some course on 16th and 17th May. Now, let me tell you about what is this industry integrated program all about. See, whatever domains we have seen, whatever experts which are working in this all domain right now, we wish to express, or we wish to bridge their inputs, the expert advice to all the students, so that this knowledge, this expectations can, or this requirements can be percolated to the end user, that is a graduate. So here what we are trying to do is, we are basically invited some 10 industry experts who are going to advise you, who are going to share you what could be the post COVID era, what could be the possibilities, what could be the opportunities after this COVID. So with this, we have designed 2 days program, 2 days event, online event, which we are broadcasting on 16th and 17th of this month, on this coming weekend. And we are starting with the registrations for this event as well. So as you have given enormous response for this particular program, similarly we are expecting the same kind of response for this online event as well, where we are basically broadcasting some of our video sessions, some of our industry expert sessions, the need, the current recruitment trends, current trends in different domains. So all this will be shared to you on your email itself. So we are beginning with this registration process just after this live session. All the registration details for this particular session has been given on our website www.opexindia.com. See to it that this, for this particular event, we have made it a paid event. We are charging say 600 rupees for this particular event, but for this today, or 10th of May till midnight, we are charging special prices for all the students, for all the graduates. The part of this particular fees is going to donate for PM Cares Relief Fund for COVID management. Secondly, all the details have been already displayed on our website www.opexindia.com. Secondly, because we have some of the expenses in all these broadcasting online event, or to make it a more interactive, and that's how, or that's the reason we have kept this as a paid event. Okay, so you can see this entire agenda of 16th and 17th. And one more thing is, this is a certified program. So at the end of this event, at the end of this online event, which we have scheduled on 16th and 17th, we have the certification from our own institution, or from our own company and other institutions as well. So I hope how you have given this particular response to this live session. Similarly, we are expecting a similar kind of response for our next program as well. I hope you liked this particular live session. Whatever I have discussed or whatever I have briefed about all the job domains, they are finding or they are basically solving your needs. They are solving your problems. In case if you have any kind of problems or any kind of job related things or startup related skills, you can subscribe our YouTube channel OPEX India, OPEX India. You can subscribe our Instagram page OPEX India. You can subscribe our Facebook page as well, where you can in comment section you can drop your comments, you can drop your feedback, you can drop your whatever queries you have. Till then, namaste, thank you so much, and we will see you soon on 16th of this month. Thank you so much.